Hi, I'm Dan Hegstad. Welcome to my vlog and podcast, Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. We've been talking about stress management, and I want to take that just a little bit further before we move on to the next episode. A reminder that's all based on my book, Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. It is an Amazon paperback, it is an Amazon audiobook, and it's an Amazon Kindle. And you can get to Amazon to buy it or download it by going to my website, danhegstad.com. The links are there. I am a speaker and trainer, and if you'd like to book me as a speaker, everything you need to know is on my website also. Seeing a few new folks that are subscribing, and thank you for that. Still not a ton of people at this point. If you're liking what you see, you might hit subscribe and share it with other people. I think I've got some good information that can help a lot of folks. It's not, cute kittens and nothing exciting going on here, but I think it's some pretty good information that could help a lot of people, so you may want to share it with your friends. And I'm just kind of hoping that this finds a bigger audience as we move forward here. So thank you for those of you who like and subscribe. We're talking again about stress management, and I want to remind you, because I can't say this often enough, these 4 pieces. You can't change other people. You can't read minds. You can't predict the future. You need to just remember that all the time. And the one on my list here, overstressed overachievers are not heroes. So think of that. You cannot change other people. Just focus on yourself. This is all about you. And you can't read minds, and you can't change other people. It's just that simple and that difficult, because it's the other people that cause us so much grief, isn't it? But all you can do is change what you think about those other things, and how are you going to act and react to it? That's the only thing you can change. And once you get to that point, it's just a lot simpler to let go of stuff. It's getting to that reality that is such a challenge. I heard an interesting story the other day about lobsters. Apparently lobsters grow, but their shell doesn't. So at some point in a lobster's life, maybe several times, I don't know about lobsters. I'm in the middle of Minnesota, about as far away from lobsters as you can get. And but apparently as lobsters grow, they need to find a place where they shed that protective shell and wait for a new one to grow back. And so they need to find a safe place. And that's quite an analogy for us. So if you shed your shell, you're dealing with your stuff, you're getting into it, you get to find a safe place. I'm not sure exactly where that is for humans. If you're a lobster, it's under a rock in the Atlantic Ocean or somewhere, but you get to, kind of dial back how you deal with life. You don't have to deal with everything right now. You get that choice as how engaged you want to be. So think of the lobster, find yourself a safe place, but do not stay there. That's not a good way to live. I remind you that stress management and all this personal growth is ongoing. You get to pause, you get to choose, you get to find your safe place, but there's really no going back. But once you get going, you find, hey, this is really great. I'm growing and changing. It's challenging at times, sometimes really challenging, but it never ends. You're never going to be perfectly relaxed. There was a woman I knew years ago who thought that, you should be able to live in a concentration camp and live in your perfect zen. And that's just nonsense, That's not real thinking. These things are still very, very challenging, and they will continue to be, but you will have better skills. You will learn and hone your skills and become better at dealing with whatever life handles, whatever life hands you. But it is ongoing, but you can handle it. You're doing well. Now, I've given you 20 or so ideas on how to handle stress better. That was a couple episodes ago. I can't go into that much detail in a vlog and podcast. And, I'm not here just to sell the book, but here's a good reason to buy the book or listen to it is just getting more in depth into those many things you can do to manage and reduce the stress in your life. But I don't want to leave you with the impression that life's all going to be, puppies and kittens and unicorns farting rainbows. It's still stressful. And I did say a lot of times stress is a choice. And as hard as it is to hear that, it is true because you have a choice in how you handle the stress. Now, some people may say, well, that sounds like you're blaming the victim. No, I'm just saying you have the opportunity, you have the skills, or you can grow the skills to handle stress better. Now, having said that, you could still get a health diagnosis that is as bad as it gets. Yeah, that's going to be stressful, and you're probably going to do the best you can, but again, you're not going to be at peace with that. There can be a death of somebody close in your family. That's going to be very stressful, and you can only do the best you can with it. You may have, if you're, in a recovery program, you may have a relapse. That can be very stressful, but you can come back from that. But it's going to be very stressful. Your expectations here that life's just going to be wonderful from here on out are not realistic. But the expectation that you have skills that you are learning and using, and life is going to be better, that is realistic. I've given you about 20, I don't know, I haven't counted them, ways to manage stress. Well, you've spent a lifetime being stressed, and it will be challenging to use those skills. Being less stressed can seem kind of boring. And those stress habits may return, and they can be challenging. But don't beat yourself up over it. Just do the best you can. Some days a diamond and some days a stone. Just take it a day at a time and do the best you can, and take it easy on yourself, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just a couple other points I wanted to make in this video before we move on. I want to remind you of the day at a time thinking. Anyone can handle the battles of just one day. It's only when you and I add the battles of those two awful eternities, yesterday and tomorrow, that we break down. I don't know who said that, but it's worth remembering. If you're having trouble, just remember, how are you doing right now in this minute? Are you doing okay? I mean, could be better. Chances are we're worried about tomorrow or having regrets about yesterday. If you can get into today thinking, get into that habit, today I'm okay, you're going to be a lot better. Money is a big issue. It's a big stressor for a lot of people. And I don't think I mentioned this enough, so I want to throw it in here. Really working on a savings account and building that is a real stress reliever, knowing you have some money in the bank and you don't loan it to people. You don't say, oh, here, I'm going to start a business. No, you don't do that. And I tell this to young people, but it's good for everybody. Start where you're at, but start a savings account. Put $50 in there, but it is specifically for dire emergencies. And I mean dire. You are loath to dig into this money. This is not money you loan to people, or maybe you want to start a business someday. No, this isn't where you do that. This is emergency money. This is so you can sleep at night. So how big does that fund need to be? You decide. But it eventually turns into a retirement account. So you do have a plan for this. But you start with $50 and it's separate. And you're going to when you're young, you don't have any money. I get it. So maybe it sits there for 5 years before you have another $20 that falls in your lap, birthday money or something. You add to it when you can, and eventually you start adding a little more and a little more. As you grow and get older, you're going to have more money coming in, and you just keep adding to this a little bit at a time, little bit, more and more, and just don't dig into it. Leave it there. And eventually, it can grow into some pretty decent money. I mean, start doing some calculations on compound interest. Then maybe it's big enough so that you can invest it in something. But, it needs to be liquid money so that if you need a couple grand right now, you've got it. And that'll help you sleep at night. And so just think about that. Be serious about it. Keep it separate. This is my so I can sleep at night money. All right. One of the best things psychologists tell us we can do for our well-being is to connect with friends. People who are happy and live a long time, the one thing they all have in common is a good social network. Now, I find people pretty stressful. So I'm pretty particular about who I hang out with. They got to be some pretty special people, not a lot of drama. But, you pick your friends. But have a social network of good, strong, supportive people and connect with that network. And try not to make it only online. Get together, real people talking face-to-face, sharing some food. And it's really important that you do that. That recharges batteries. It opens your brain. It's just really a good thing to do. It's much too easy to isolate. Don't do it. Make a conscious effort to have and connect with friends. And lastly, in this issue of the Vlog and Podcast, I want to suggest that you celebrate every birthday. And I've been when I turned 30, and I'm 67 now, I told people I didn't want any black balloons or over the hill or any of that stuff. I have been celebrating birthdays for decades, and it's a good thing. It's a good, positive thing to do because not everybody gets another one. And we have this idea that getting old is a bad thing because we live in this youth culture that celebrates youth. And I call BS on that. I'm not going to stand for it. I don't believe it, and I'm not going to fall into it. I see wisdom in age, and age should be respected, and I'm going to start by respecting age. And I'm going to start by celebrating my birthdays, every one of them. And when I have a major birthday, like when I turned 60, I celebrated the whole year. Usually I celebrate for a week or a month. It's my birthday month, my birthday week. I mean, we have a Christmas season. I have a birthday season. And I have fun with that. And it's a good thing to do. Oh boy, I turned a year older. I am doing well. I'm still alive. So be positive about that. So those are some of the things that I think it's just a matter of attitude because you're thinking positive. I'm getting a year older. That's a good thing. Popular culture says it's a bad thing. Oh no, you're old. I've made that point. I'm not doing it. And I hope you don't do it either. These are some ideas on how you can go one step further in having a better life and moving from coping to thriving. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you want to buy the book or download the audiobook or the Kindle or book me as a speaker, all that's on my website, danhegstead.com. All right. Thanks for listening and watching to Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving.